because he was telling. Hey, y'all, come look at this.
In respect of the observance of the law, all persons in Trinidad and Tobago, every single person in Trinidad and Tobago, whether you happen to be a funder of the People's National Movement, whether you happen to be a member of the 1%, if you break the law, if you cross that line that would excite the member for Tunapuna, I want to be very careful. The member for Tunapuna, whose job it is to write PDOs.
It's not a political thing. It's not a political thing. I don't know why people think it. And I am somewhat embarrassed by that. Why a person would think such a thing?
Well, then you know what? Whether you are a black man from the Beta or whether you happen to live in Bayshore and are stealing government land and property, I don't know. Whether I'm just saying whether I'm just saying whether you happen to be doing that, whether you happen to have called the Office of the Attorney General essentially at midnight on the 28th, when the results of the elections were coming in, to say, listen, get that lease fixed up for me now. Right? Whether you happen to be any of those persons, you know what? The member for Tunapuna, I am sure, sorry, I can't call you anything else. The member for Tunapuna and the Minister of Homeland Security will certainly put you on a PDO with Pipey and Rajiali down in Tetron.
What?
Let me see that again.
You know what? The member for Tunapuna, I am sure, sorry, I can't call you anything else. The member for Tunapuna and the Minister of Homeland Security will certainly put you on a PDO with Pipey and Rajiali down in Tetron.
A few moments later.
And let me say again one more time, no government minister cannot instruct anyone to take out a PDO for anybody. It doesn't work like that. And if that's your information, you were highly misled.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to the citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, it is quite clear that we are in dangerous waters. And I am here today to warn you, Trinidad and Tobago, of what they have intended for us. Now today, when I was lying down, whilst I was yet in sleep, I was given instructions to get up this afternoon and to conduct this live. No matter what it takes, Trinidad and Tobago, the truth must come out. And today, I reaffirm that my trust is in Almighty God. And let God be true and every man a liar. Trinidad and Tobago, many of you would have seen the video that was played just now. Many of you are not gifted with discernment and understand or try to even interpret what is going on here in our country. And we are waiting for analysts after analysts for us to make up our decision of what is taking place here in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a serious problem at this point in time. It is not a failed economy. It is not the crime situation. It is not the factor that the government is doubling fines. But our main problem here at Trinidad and Tobago is the leadership or the rule, matter of fact, of the UNC government. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, from the video that was just aired, many of us would have taken that to mean something. And let me tell you why is it something. Or you believe that John Jeremy is really going after corruption. Many of you believe, Trinidad and Tobago, that John Jeremy is really going after corruption in this country. We want to see receipts. But do you, let me ask yourself the question. Let's go in to a deep analytical observation of the intentionality of what the UNC is postulating in the public domain. I want you to understand the methodology and how deep these people and them is going. Now, do you honestly believe, Trinidad and Tobago, after 10 years, let me say hypothetically, that the PNM government would have used state funds to build that building that I have there? Let's say, we just say it. Don't you believe, Trinidad and Tobago, that they will have information, though they will have means and ways of cooking the books? But the UNC government don't care about that. They don't care about that. They don't care about really knowing how it's billing. They are about watching the information in which the PNM is going to provide. Yes. Yes, Trinidad and Tobago. So yes, to you who are out there and who are still wondering what we are talking about here this evening, we are talking about the real issue, the real reason as to why the government of Trinidad and Tobago decides or intends to go after the PNM to find out the funding, who is behind, or the funding behind Bali's house. We all know that this morning that Foster Cummins would have been served at the airport over the Balize probe, which would have been in the public domain for quite some time. But we are going to talk about the issues, the real reason behind that. And all on a sudden, Trinidad and Tobago, these people, the Hadids, pay attention to this pity at this point in time. The court appeal orders the Hadids to be released after on house arrest. But let me bring this breakdown before I come with some facts here for you to see. Yes, before I come with some facts here for you to see. So we know he get the serve notice. Yes, we know Foster get the serve notice. But let me go with the breakdown here concerning the Hadids.
Plus, we have evidence. We just can't show it to you. This is what the state told 3 appeal judges. So, Tuesday's Court of Appeal hearing on the Dominic Hadid case is over. 3 judges heard submissions from both sides and reserved their decision. It drops Friday, 8 a.m. Hadid's lawyers put the central problem plainly. Government is using intelligence to justify holding this couple, but won't disclose what was actually said, to whom, or when. If the Hadids lose on Friday, the next stop is the Privy Council in London. State's own King Council acknowledged something very significant in the courtroom. 2011 state of emergency, whose regulations are almost identical to the ones that are holding the Hadids right now, which is being challenged before the Privy Council right now, meaning that the entire legal framework that is holding this couple right now could become unconstitutional before the case is even over. Friday's decision is not the end of this. Either step 3 or a beginning of a Privy Council fight. And somewhere in London, judges are looking at whether the rules of this game was ever valid to begin with. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you believe the current legal framework for detention is constitutional? Like and follow as always.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, in terms of the case with the Hadids and them, the Hadid matter was just to show the public how the government of the day could go after anybody in Trinidad and Tobago. So they went after the 1%. They had him in jail. Yes, he fight for his life until they let him off the hook, until he was, the courts and them was forced to let him off the hook. But that was just an example of what the government could do to anybody in this country. So when we say that they're coming after we, they're after us. Yes, they're after us. But what the government would have done, the UNC government would have done, is smite the shepherd and scatter the flock. They're going after to find out the funding, not that they're too interested, because they are absolutely certain that the PNM could produce information that could justify the funding of Balize House. What this government is interested in is seeing all who would have engaged in funding Balize House, and all who is willing to come forward to go on paper, so they could know who to victimize next. They could know who to go after next. They could know who to go and send a PDO for next. They could know, so they could know the pillars of strength in which the PNM stands on. So to the coward ones and them outside there, that would have distributed, that would have funded the Balize House, and to see what John Jeremy and them would have said in the parliament, and the PDO that was issued, and how the Hadids and them was fighting tooth and nail. They go say, see me, take me off of that. I don't want to be a part of that, because they don't want to be fighting this court system. So the Hadid and them was to inject fear into the businessmen and them who would have contributed monies to build that Balize House so they could know who to victimize next. So all who run in and saying, playing that there's closet PNM, they're hiding behind the Balize. They're giving you now an excuse to run. And they want to see all who is willing to put their names up on any information as to see who would have funded that Balize House, so they could know who to victimize now in the present and who to victimize in the future, and all who to blackmail. Look, we see a name on the paper here. And you tell me it wasn't a PNM? Or you tell me it was a UNC? How come we have your name here on some court documents that you would have contributed millions of dollars into the Balize House? The UNC government, Trinidad and Tobago, is one of the most dangerous government that it have right now in existence. And the only how we could combat this governmental style, the only way, is let us put all differences aside and fire the UNC government. The government not interested in really knowing where the PNM get their funding. They want to know who give it to them. So they could go to the parliaments, they could blackmail all contractors, and they could deal with them in a manner that is befitting to them. Now that number there on screen is my personal number. You could call me on that number, or you could WhatsApp me on that number. 333-2176. This evening, however, we ain't taking no live call. Now is 28 minutes. 28 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. Yes, every time that I try to pull down the live on TikTok, not much people, every time that I try to pull down the live on TikTok, every time they're pulling down the live on TikTok. So all contractors, now you have to run for cover. Now you have to run for cover. We tell Oya here on a daily basis what is taking place in this government. What we must hate by this government. So if at this point in time, or you're not taking heed, crap or smoke your pipe. We could do a lot more here on this broadcast. Let me put up our bank account number and the name, or you could go to any Republic Bank and donate whatever you can to keeping this broadcast alive. The account number is there on the screen. Any Republic Bank in Trinidad and Tobago, or you screenshot it, take out, or your phone, Renison Jeffrey, 970067992801. Or you could donate whatever. We could go a long way, but we had to go together through Trinidad and Tobago. We had to go together. So that was the bank account number. Let me bring it back. So you could see. So anything that you want to donate to the show for the upkeep of the broadcast. I know we would have never done this before, but we are facing times that we would have never seen before. So again, Trinidad and Tobago is quite simple. What this present government is after, they want to see who. See, take for example Trinidad and Tobago. A table stands on 4 legs. And if you take away one out of the leg, the table go shaking, but it go still stand. But if you take out the next leg, one side go drop, but the next side go prop up. And all power Trinidad and Tobago, any power that exists, have pillars of strength. And what John Jeremy, together with the UNC, is doing is going after the pillars of what hold up the PNM party. They want to see behind that. They want to see all who supporting and all who does contribute and all who does give to sports, they all who does give to book drives that the PNM is having, so they could go after these people. But I am calling on the PNM, find a way to protect who support you. Find a way to hide these people and them confidential information. Because just so, because of this court case, people that sponsor you could go missing or dead. The children could be abducted. Businessmen could be thrown in jail. For years, they could make up case against them. Tie them up with the system. I know, or you could prove it, but protect the people and them that support you. Find a way, legally. Because this present state in which the UNC have this country in, or how the UNC intends to govern this country, it is frightening. And they intend to go after all of us. All of us. So we are calling on the national community. We are calling on each and every one of you to understand how dangerous this Kamala-led regime is in this country. My God. It's hiding right here in plain sight for all of you to see. The real reason as to behind why this government want to know the source of funds, the funding behind Bali's house. Listen to this video a second time.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
In respect of the observance of the law, all persons in Trinidad and Tobago, every single person in Trinidad and Tobago, whether you happen to be a funder of the People's National Movement, whether you happen to be a member of the 1%, if you break the law, if you cross that line that would excite the member for Tunapuna, I want to be very careful. The member for Tunapuna, whose job it is to write PDOs.
It's not a political thing. It's not a political thing. I don't know why people think it. And I am somewhat embarrassed by that. Why a person would think such a thing?
Well, then you know what? Whether you are a black man from the Beta or whether you happen to live in Bayshore and are stealing government land and property, I don't know. Whether, I'm just saying whether. I'm just saying whether. Whether you happen to be doing that, whether you happen to have called the Office of the Attorney General essentially at midnight on the 28th, when the results of the elections were coming in, to say, listen, get that lease fixed up for me now. Right? Whether you happen to be any of those persons, you know what? The member for Tunapuna, I am sure, sorry, I can't call you anything else. The member for Tunapuna and the Minister of Homeland Security will certainly put you on a PDO with Pipey and Rajiali down in Tetron.
What?
Let me see that again.
You know what? The member for Tunapuna, I am sure, sorry, I can't call you anything else. The member for Tunapuna and the Minister of Homeland Security will certainly put you on a PDO with Pipey and Rajiali down in Tetron.
A few moments later.
And let me say again one more time, no government minister cannot instruct anyone to take out a PDO for anybody. It doesn't work like that. And if that's your information, you were highly misled.
If you're still in doubt, Trinidad and Tobago, whether he is a funder of the People National Movement or what, how would I know he is a funder? How they intend to know that he is a funder of the PNM? That's what Jeremy would have done in the parliament. Is a direct threat to funders of the PNM. But he catch himself in it. He say whether or not they break the law. But then he tell you about the PDO. The minister could issue a PDO to any one of us without question, and then it is brought before a tribunal whether or not to justify it. So the minister could give out PDO at will. And the minister must acquiesce. Or ought to know that he have to acquiesce to the decisions of the party. And whatever they say, or what direction they're pointing, you have no choice than to follow or leave the party. What do you think that he will do? This government is so dangerous. It ain't funny no more. And every day from Monday, not every day, but Monday to Saturday, we come here to give you the good news, the message, in which it is not tainted. People try to taint us, but God is with us. Let us come together, Trinidad and Tobago. Stand together and get rid of this UNC government democratically. Because as far as I see, they don't have no good intention for us here in this country. The UNC government is not interested in knowing whether or not the PNM could provide. If they can't, well, that is a liar. But they are interested in who really fund that project, who is willing to put themselves forward. And the thing with the Hadids is to show how far that they can go to deal with you through government persecution in this country. I want to know if that is what you ask for. I want to know is when, after April 28th, is if this is the type of governance that you want in this country, Trinidad and Tobago. It's time for you to wake up and smell the coffee. It is not getting any better. It is getting more worse. And you are seeing what they are doing. They are using every means necessary to go after any type of opposition that is opposing this government. So anybody who is capable of even funding the pillars of strength, they are trying to decimate their competition. This is the last straw. If it is that many of you outside there are still in doubt after this program, then heaven help us all. My name is Renison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting on the Workers' Rights Network live. We are live, and I am live in studio. So good evening to all those that are on the panel, all those on TikTok, all those on YouTube. And we are going to forward this link on Facebook, all those that are on Facebook. Thanks for watching, thanks for viewing. And I honestly can't tell the future, but God works in mysterious ways. His wonders are still unknown. This is our bank account here, Trinidad and Tobago. Anything that you would like to donate, you could donate on this account, and it will be received with thanks, members of the team. The program this evening, we are not going to run on Workers' Rights Platform because of circumstances beyond my control. But Candice will be going live this evening, or join the Warrior Princess on her platform. And to the team, to Xavier, to Candice, to Trinity, to Chatter, to all of you. Your presence is appreciated, although don't say it loudly, but your presence is appreciated. And thanks for having each other's back, my back, Candice, everybody back. Thanks for keeping watch. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Again, this is our bank account. You could go to any Republic Bank and donate whatever your heart desire.